this advice. I don't know if you can hear me dream, but I hate this new phone of mine. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Good even fall to one and all. This is Warp Speed. And you know what that means when you hear that music there playing in the background by none other produced than by none other than Dan the Automator, and without the lyrics of one of the most creative lyricists of all time, Del the Funky Homo Sapien. When you hear that music right there, you know this means Warp Speed and his cohorts are gonna try not to make an ass of themselves, really. Sometimes, it's hard not to, right? This sport of boxing is a type of sport that is full of shenanigans, and I guess sometimes it just passes to us. It's viewers, right? So, yeah. With that being said, Dream, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Yeah, I see that Dream is the wannabe knower, while I am Warspeed, the knower of nothing but a laugher of everything. Dream, well, first off, I hope you've been doing well, man. Man, how you been, sir? What's your life been like? What you been up to?
Good, man. Just working. Yeah, just trying to find time for all this because it's like, oh yeah, I'm down to do all this, and then you just find shit that you need to take care of when you do
Mm,
this. It's like, damn, man. But it's good, I guess. It's just really busy lately.
yeah. I think you can tell that we've been rather busy with the fact that us big time hardcore boxing fans, we have not been able to make enough time to go live as frequently as we'd like to. We know that the sport of boxing always provides something to talk about, news of the day, something to make us think, and for whatever reason or another, we just haven't been able to click up. We haven't been able to go live. We haven't been able to report as much as we'd like to. Like you said, we've been working, been real busy, but we are here together. And I appreciate you joining us today, Dream, because I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things, man. Look, do you know who NoFX is?
No. Who?
Yeah, I know. Who, right? Well, yeah, I guess,
I don't know if you said FX, SX, or
oh,
what.
oh, NoFX.
No
No,
effect.
yeah, NoFX.
Who is that?
Yeah, well, soon enough, I guess a lot of people will be asking who was that, because NoFX was, in my opinion, the greatest punk rock band of all time. It was the most consistent, most creative, most melodic punk rock band that I can think of. And in fact, I can attribute so much of who I am as an individual to everything that I learned listening to the punk rock sarcastic, sardonic, rebellious, hilarious songs that NoFX played. NoFX Dream was a band that just as of this past Sunday, stopped becoming a band. They no longer exist. They have retired after 41 years of being extant. Started in 1983 in Southern California, Los Angeles area, and this year they had their final tour. These guys are older now in their 50s. Each of all of them, all these four guys, El Jefe, couple of the Mikes, Fat Mike, and the Jewish guys, the Bruce, as they call themselves. Those guys had been together for 41 years. 41 years. They started off at a time when, yes, punk rock was popular back then, in the late 70s. And then punk rock started to die out. It had a resurgence back in late 90s, early 2000s. That's when I was, you know, heavy, heavily into punk rock. I was a rebellious individual. I was spray painting walls,
Starting
hopping over.
riots.
Yeah, actually,
Oh, for
yep.
real? I'm
Yeah,
getting
no,
confused.
no, I didn't start riots, but I participated in riots. I don't want to sound like a scumbag now, right? But
Yeah,
there. Okay,
I got an ex. Just quick story. I got an ex.
yeah,
She's
go for it, man.
and she's a punk rock chick,
Yeah.
and I got, there's like she's like getting at other dudes and stuff. I'm like looking at those dudes like, I hope you're ready to start a riot. No, I'm just kidding. Cause she's an emo chick. I'm
Whoa,
like,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa, whoa, whoa. So, okay, so that's the thing, though, right? I don't want nobody to get it confused, and to think that emos are punk rockers, right? In fact, some would say that they're the antithesis, the opposite of a punk rocker,
yeah,
because a
it's a
punk.
vibe. It's a vibe. Uh, right or wrong?
I think it's definitely a vibe, but I think it's a state of mind, right?
Okay.
Um, emo is a short-term word. It's a short, truncated version of the word emotional. So when you
Oh
think
wow,
about it,
I didn't
yeah,
know
no,
that.
that's really no, it does. It's an emo. So their etiquette, or should we say their aesthetic, is one of being emotional, depressed, moody, always wearing dark clothing, perhaps wearing makeup that makes them look dread and lifeless, and they're the way that they approach their appearance towards the outside world is to express their inner emotional state, and a lot of it is a depressed the state of despair that they exude outwards through their physical appearance, right? And and of course there is a punk rock segment of music that is more down tempo. It expresses more of the emotional, depressed, youthful angst that a lot of us went through. But where emos accept their depressed state, regular punk rockers, like especially the anarcho type, we don't allow ourselves to just be depressed. We take that depression, we take the things that upset us, and we rebel, right? We bring to the fore the topics that have put us in that mental state, and then we rebel, right? We draw attention to ourselves because of our appearance, but it is more lively, more drab, and we just want to mosh, and we want to fight, and we want to spray paint walls, and some of us wants to break windows and so forth and so on, right? Did I ever start a riot? No. But I participated in a riot, and I'll tell you guys a story about that, but I don't want to sound like a scumbag, right? Because of course now I'm in my 40s, and I no longer I no longer listen to punk rock as much, but when I do, it's always gonna involve no effects. Now, you're probably saying, okay, so what, right? So no effects, along with the X Files, is basically responsible for forming who I am. Weed, no effects, and the X Files. As far as I'm concerned, those things boil down who I have been for about half of my life, right? Now I'm older, I don't have that kind of energy, not too mosh, no longer to start riots, or perhaps I do, right? But now I'm older, and I don't want my children to know that that's who I was, or that is that who I can become if I turn it up. But the punks are very well involved in what they call the DIY movement, which is basically do it yourself. Now everybody's doing it yourself by, going on Instagram and showing things how to do things on your own and stuff. The DIY was part of the etiquette of a punk rocker back then. We taught ourselves how to read. We taught ourselves how to draw. We taught ourselves how to play instruments, right? That was just one very important part of a punk rock etiquette. Secondly, we were anti mainstream, anti politics. We were just anti everything, right? And you have to understand one thing, Dream. To be anti everything requires a lot of energy, right? So this is the reason why punk rock is suitable to the youthful, to the teenagers in particular, and especially since the music is not very melodic and you don't require much skill to play three chords, and a punk rocker play a simple 1 2 drum beat. It's very it's very popular in that segment of one's life stages because we don't require much learning. That's why we're young, but at the same time, we do require a lot of energy. That's why we can do those things. But long story short, what I'm trying to say is that NoFX has played their last gig after 41 years in Los Angeles, the same place that they started in San Pedro. And I was not able to make it to their show, and I was very hurt for a long time because I cannot express the
You're
fact
very
that
emotional.
no, 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 not necessarily, but I do know that part of me has died with them. Just like the same death of my character, of my personality, died when the X Files officially stopped becoming a show, when they killed off Fox Mulder, when the show had its last run and it pretty much was a mediocre season. I knew then that I had left that in my past. And with NoFX no longer becoming a band, no longer existing, officially retiring, and then moving on to different projects, one of them is going to become like a stand up comedian, and he's horrible. He's horrible. So it's like, man, I don't know, right? I know that part of me has died with them. And does it hurt? It bothered me a bit. But I guess I have to accept my age, right? The fact that I am now a father and and a role model, believe it or not, to
Yeah,
some
bro.
people.
Accept your age already. Damn it. You're 40 something, bro.
45 to be
God,
exact. Come on.
should have
Come on.
done this when you're in your 30s.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mr. Vince Vargas, good even for the you, sir. Good even for always a pleasure to see you here. Our longest listener, our longest follower, our first subscribed, our very first commenter, very important individual in this community. We love this guy. He's been there since the beginning, and I don't remember no more than two shows where Mr. Vince Vargas did not show up to say something, express his gratitude, and talk a little bit about sports, and then move on. I always rely on this guy. In fact, if Mr. Vince Vargas is not here, we might not even be here because we really relied a lot on our very first listeners, our very first commenters to keep this show alive. And in fact, Dream, I wanted to share one thing, man. The other day, somebody hit me up on one of those shorts that the angry screaming madman or whatever he calls himself posted, right? And I have to respond to those videos, right? The guy never responds to his own videos. I'm the one who just uploads them and I respond to him, right? And I have to sometimes excuse myself for his behavior and his attitude because he's a clown. Anyways, long story short, I started to respond to a couple of the quips that a couple of these commenters posted. And one guy said, keep it up, man. I am your sixth subscriber ever. And I was like, what? He was our sixth subscriber. Mind you, these people, like Mr. Vince Vargas and this other gentleman, UK Uka Trash or something like that, our sixth listener. It was just special, and all these other people that started to come out the woodwork, and yeah, it's incredible. The reason why we do it is because of them. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys all knew that. But let's just get down to brass tacks. Dream. Okay, homie Ricky had a very great Short Live the day of yesterday. He broke down what he believes about this upcoming fight between these two undefeated belt holders and Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. Now, I'm not too sure if we're going to talk about that, you know, too much in this here show, right? Because I wanted to talk about the shenanigans around the sport of boxing. Now, Dream, I'm sure you already know this, right? Terence Crawford is having a back and forth with Teofimo Lopez. Terence Crawford is having a back and forth with Brian Garcia. These younger men, like little pesky ants flying over, some pestilence, right? They can't seem to get off Terence Crawford's nuts. And they're calling him out and saying that he's mediocre and that he's a boring fighter and that he's a hype job. And they say they want to fight him. Now, let me ask you something. Do you think these guys are trolls, or do you think they would actually take on a fighter like Terence Crawford off of the bravado and their overconfidence, their confidence in themselves, their self esteem? Do you think they're doing it to attract the attention of Terence Crawford in order to instigate a fight with that two-time undisputed shoe-in Hall of Famer, or do you think they're just wasting everybody's time?
Uh, nah, I don't think. I think it's Teofimo that's chasing that. I don't think. I don't think Crawford uh wants to fight that dude. Like, and honestly, uh, I hear a lot of people that that would love that fight. And it has to do with Teofimo's ability to perform at the level of his opposition when they're quote unquote tough or favored. I mean, and that's just it, right? Like it's the unknown of Teofimo. Dude, I was 99% sure he was gonna lose to to Josh Taylor. I
Hmm.
was 90% sure he was gonna lose to Loma. I was 99% sure he was going to beat um, George Cambosis. So it's just the unknown with that guy. It's like he's a Hall of Famer, and that's another reason why um, he wants to up his resume. I mean, uh, I I don't think he cares too much about winning or losing. I just think obviously he does, but at this point, man, I think he's shocked himself, right? As far as like who he's beaten, like just as much as us,
Good point.
But yeah, it's just he surprised us with certain outcomes, like I said, like with Josh Taylor, Loma, and and even the ones that he lost. It's just the unknown with this guy.
Hmm.
Um, and with Crawford, um he has his own path, right, in mind. I just think there's so many proposals, I guess you would say, like proposals for his fucking for his career path. And I think some of us want him to go one division at a time, like me. I think he should move up gradually.
Hmm.
Honestly, I want him to fight more, period.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just at this point we're gonna take it as what it is. Crawford's a legend, right? And I just feel like dude's got to fight more, man. Dude's got to fight more, but in reality, I just feel like as far as who he's talking about fighting, Crawford, he's looking at that 160-pound division and saying those guys are food, you know, and I think that would look really nice on his resume. Just having all these belts,
Hmm.
not skipping any divisions. I just feel like he didn't spend enough time at 154. I think he was at 147 for a good amount of time.
Hmm.
I didn't expect him to stay at 154 for 10 fights, or I don't know how many fights he was in at 147, but maybe
Hmm.
like two more names at 154 and then move up to 160. so then you can have one more division. Uh, it's only one division between you and Canelo, you
Yeah.
know. So I never liked the the whole two division thing, and same
Mhm.
goes to Tio. So I want to stick to that and say that I don't never liked the fight, never wanted it. Um, dude, we're I was always saying that Tio wasn't punching like that at 140. He's just not punching like that, and he's proven it with Steve Claggett. He's proven it with Sandor Martin, but it's just how the hell do you think? How in the world do you think you're gonna do great at 154 if you're not even punching at 140? It's just
True. Wow,
it's
that's
just
true.
it's insane because it's unfair. It's unfair, and you're just gonna feel the right. You're just gonna feel like you have the right to fucking move up to 154 instead of calling out dudes your size like Tank or Devin. It's just I don't know. It's so obvious, bro. With Tio, right? And he just and dudes like Cam and Mace, these rappers from New York, they have their own podcast.
Mhm.
They're interviewing him and they ask him about Shakur, and this guy says, "I'll let I forget what his name was. He mentioned somebody's name. He says, "I'll let him fight him," and it's just like, no, he is lower than you. You are closer in opposition as far as opposition to Shakur, dude, that's just a duck in broad daylight, So um, Teal's energy is obvious, but one thing you can't deny is he's a Hall of Famer, bro. He's just not acting like it, you know. But
Well, I mean, look.
resume says that he's a Hall of Famer, but I'd never to end it real quick. I
Yeah.
never wanted him versus Crawford. I never even wanted Crawford to even play with this dude. Like, don't even give him any time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he said beat Madrimov and then we'll do it. But it's like, dude, you're not even gonna beat Madrimov. You're not gonna beat nobody at 154. Nobody. Like, I'm somebody, but I'm saying nobody at that level, like not even close to that level, not even 147. So it's like get realistic, Tio. Get realistic because in reality, you are a good matchup for Tank. Just give him a good match, give him your hardest punch, make him like I don't. That's a more realistic fight in my eyes. Someone your stature, um, and it's just I don't know. It's just insane to me how they're building this shit up. Like, stop the whole two division jump, stop the whole jumping two
Yeah.
division thing. Anybody, I've kept the same energy with Crawford moving up,
Mhm.
trying to
Mhm.
fight David Benavides
Yep.
and or Canelo, and I'm keeping the same energy with Tio.
Yep.
Stop stop moving two divisions up. Look one division above. If you're not like only Crawford, I feel like has the right to even talk about it. But even then, I don't even think he should be doing that. It's like
Yeah.
160. It's food though. He has a lot of dudes that he can beat at 160, and that's just another belt. So we can say, hey, I've won a belt from
Mhm.
135 all the way to 154. That's legendary.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and to cap it off with the Canelo, to be in the ring with Canelo, at 168 with your 160-pound belt, like that's an achievement. What happens after that is I don't know. Like, I think he loses to Canelo personally, but that just looks so nice on the resume, man. One
Yeah.
division at a
So
time.
Tio is, yeah. So Tio is a special case, man, because it's like you stated, right? Tio has had some of the most incredible wins that you can think of, unlikely wins, right? You
Such a
know,
roller coaster.
yes, I think he had like 19 fights when he fought Lomachenko, a guy who was obviously a better amateur, likely around the same fight experience. Actually, no, I think Lomachenko still has less fights than Teofimo Lopez. Um, or maybe around the same, right? And but still, obviously more experience, not only with the type of names that Lomachenko had fought, but also as an amateur, and somehow Tio is able to pull an upset on that guy, right? And then he goes over there and fights this no-name black sheep and Georgie Cambosis, and he loses. He gets dropped by that guy. Then he goes and beats this undefeated, undisputed fighter and in a heavier weight division, and Josh Taylor. Then all
Oh,
of a sudden he looks mediocre fighting. What's that guy's name? The Martin guy, Sandor
Claggett.
Martin. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
well, and then here's the thing: the Claggett fight is a very interesting fight to me, right? Because Steve Claggett, anybody who knew about Steve Claggett, they knew that he was a danger. They knew that he was very well experienced. He was just always fighting on the outskirts of a championship, but otherwise, his style, the experience, his ruggedness, we knew that he could present anybody challenges. And in fact, here's the thing: whenever we think about Teofimo Lopez, we think he's a counterpuncher. We saw that against somebody like Sandor Martin and Jermaine Ortiz. He wasn't able to be the aggressor. He wasn't able to press the action. He wasn't able to cut off the ring, right? His physical limitations were some that he was unable to overcome when it comes to Jermaine Ortiz. And in the case of Sandor Martin, he wasn't just able to successfully cut up the ring, and he ended up getting dropped by that guy twice. Long story short, we know that when we consider a fight of Teofimo Lopez, it's going to be a fight that proves the styles make fights, right? The pressure the pressure boxer the pressure fighter beats the natural boxer beats the puncher boxer beats the pressure fighter, that triangle theory, right? And he exemplifies that. He is almost the epitome of that, and he is almost the epitome of who's going to show up. Is it going to be the focused, Teofimo Lopez, the highfalutin, big headed guy, or is it going to be the guy who questioned himself whether he still has it, right? And he's a very intriguing character. As far as a Hall of Famer, well, they will roll the dice on that guy, right? Because they have to consider what has he done for the sport, what is he doing for the sport, and he is providing some of the biggest upsets, right? Um, hey, he's moved some of the hardest than anybody besides, let's say, Devin Haney, as far as with the younger generation, right? But when we think of Teofimo Lopez and Terence Crawford, I guess what I'm trying to get at is this: do you believe Teofimo Lopez would actually fight that guy? Okay, here's the thing: he has Eddie Reynoso there. He's training and sparring with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is a bigger guy by like what? Let me see: 140, 147, 154, 160, 168, even maybe 175, five division but lower than Canelo at his highest. Maybe that boosts up his confidence. Maybe what he thinks he's learning under Canelo and Reynoso, he can actually employ that to not talk about how bigger he is or how many divisions he's jumping, but to say, look, we're talking about an older, nearly 40-year-old Terence Crawford who looked pretty bad against Madrimov, who has never really fought anybody noteworthy except, let's say, Errol Spence and Victor Postol, right? And he may be like, I'm younger, I have better sparring, I have a better trainer, I can beat this guy. Do you think he would take that fight? Yes or no?
Um, if it's presented to Tio,
Yeah.
yes, I think Tio would fight anybody, bro. Like I
Yeah.
think
Yep.
I think he would fight anybody
Yeah.
because of his ability to shock the fucking world, bro. I think he should have fought Brian Norman instead. You know, just maybe I don't know who the fuck wins that fight. I'm gonna lean towards Norman, but it's just like I would bank on that before you even start to think about fighting Bud, unless you're thinking about retiring. And this is a thing: retirement has been in both of these guys' mouth, right?
Hmm.
I don't know where I'm getting with this because it sounds like I'm trying to say maybe they should fight since they're gonna retire. But the thing is, they're walking down this path. They've been walking down this path for a while, and it's like they had to turn around for each other, and they've gone too far in that path to even decide to fight each other. I think I think in reality, Tio is going to trying to go the same path as Crawford, but it's just this guy's so down the fucking road. He's too far. He's already up two divisions. It's
Mhm.
just like you had to have struck gold when this guy was at 147, or while that whole negotiation was going down between him and Errol Spence, you know.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I think it's just too late. I think Tio would fight anybody. I think the real question uh, is who's Crawford gonna give that fight to? You know,
Yeah.
it's up to Crawford. It's A side shit on that side.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, right? What you're saying is you're talking about two fighters that do talk about retirement, which usually means, especially with their
They're
accomplishments,
banking
they,
out. Yeah.
yeah, and they want a big, interesting, um, out of the ordinary type of fight, very unorthodox presentation to provide us in order to entice us to buy this fight or to have some big uncle money bags like Turkey Ali Sheik to dip into their reserves to pay big money to watch this just on the fact that it would be a curiosity. It would be a type of fight like we have not seen. Well, I think we have seen it when we consider like Roberto Manos de Perea Duran going up to weight divisions to fight Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns and so forth and so on, right? So I guess we have seen something like that, but 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 I do believe you. I do believe that Teofimo Lopez, he does believe in himself so much, and he will fight anybody. It doesn't make any kind of sense, but he would be willing to take a fight like that if he thinks it'll sell well and get him paid and give him a shot at
Yeah.
becoming great.
And
I don't
and
see
the
that with Ryan Garcia though.
well, different state of minds. One, well, shit, they were both fucking crazy, but this is one thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, but this is one thing, bro.
yeah,
Uh, Ryan is rich. Like Ryan's rich. I don't think Tio is what's the word? Like he's wealthy, but by him saying he made less than a mil for per fight, he made like 800K take
yeah,
home. That says a lot. Maybe he's like wealthy but not like rich, and maybe he just wants that money where he can say, hey, I can fully invest in this money and live off of what I'm about to make. You know, it's Ryan is so rich he doesn't know what to do with himself. You know, and honestly, it's all those years of focus. It's like you're locking yourself up, and then you come out 10 years later with millions. The mind, like I don't know, I just feel like Ryan's going through some internal shit, um, and it's just different from Tio, right? Uh,
mhm,
and also, I feel like Tio's pops is a little more solid than Ryan's pops. You
yeah.
know, Tio has a little more, the senior has more control of his son. You know, but because Ryan's dad doesn't, so I think that's one of the main things right there. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
just what was your question?
yeah, would Ryan, because Ryan has also been cutting out Terrence Crawford. Would Ryan actually
Mm,
take that fight? And here's the thing, all right?
mm.
In the case of Ryan Garcia, he's never really called anybody out. And the only
Yeah,
guy he
yeah.
ever, well, he only called out Gervonta Tank Davis, and he did so much to make that fight a reality. He allowed himself to come down to a catch weight, losing weight to really to uncomfortable level since he was really officially fighting at 140. He allowed himself a rehydration clause. He did so much. He basically sold his booty in order to get the dream fight
But
he
this
wanted
is
to.
but this is a sentiment between Tio and Ryan. Ryan made shit awkward. He made shit awkward with the way people think about him. It's like we have so many questions, dude. I totally forgot about Tio's dumbass remarks, bro. Wow.
What
Never mind.
the thing about a
The
monkey,
racist
or
shit, I totally forgot about that.
are you talking about the monkey comment?
Yeah. Dude,
So
they
yeah,
both
so
made some racist shit. Honestly,
yeah, yeah.
I think Tio, dude. Honestly, I'm. This is like I never thought of this. Like, comparing the two, because I was gonna say Ryan is the racist one, but literally Tio just said that racist ass shit. Um,
Well, I don't
But
think it's necessarily racist.
but I think
It has an
Ryan
innuendo.
Ryan shot for the racist shit though. Never mind. Never
Exactly,
mind. Because I'm.
exactly.
It's just, dude. You have to think about so much shit that Ryan has done, and it's coming back to my mind right now, bro. Huh? Right? Tio and Ryan should just fight exactly. But at
Yep,
this point,
yep.
people are looking at them like, why would we want to give these racists a fucking chance? Like that's the sentiment. Like that's usually people's opinion, right? But I think Tio, what he said, I guess it's not that bad as fucking Ryan because Ryan was saying the hard ER, like he was saying like
He
bro,
was saying some stupid idiot things, right? Yeah,
yeah,
I understand. He was saying the N word. He kept, standing
yeah,
firm on that. He kept repeating it, and just, yeah,
and
no, he is.
he's made people mad, bro. Like
Yeah,
literally, he should fear for his safety. Tio,
I would say
Tio,
that. I would say so. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and Tio, I feel like he should just watch what he says, Um, yeah, I mean,
Well,
like
he's from New York, so
no, but
so
Ryan,
he it's different over there. He's from New York. He'll be more accepted. He knows, the people from New York are very hardened skin. They've seen it all. They've heard it all. They ain't gonna be worried about
no,
Teofimo Lopez saying
yeah,
that any
right.
of these monkeys that wants a banana, I'll fight. But
So,
of course, it's different than saying that versus the
well,
N word.
no, well, yeah. Rick is saying the N word isn't that bad, but say it in front of some black people, and on top of that, say it with a hard ER.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the word nigga. And I hate saying
Yeah,
that word anyways. It's
yeah.
not the word nigga he's saying.
It's the
He's
RE. It's the
yeah,
ER,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like
Exactly.
Rick. It went over Rick's head. He
Yeah,
said
yeah,
the
yeah.
hard.
He knows better. He knows better. He
He
knows
said
what Ryan
honestly,
has stated.
he just said honestly, it's not that bad. The hard ER.
Yeah, I think he's just riling you up, man. He knows
Yeah, I
better.
know. I was
But
like, like
listen, listen,
smartass.
out of respect for strangers, out of respect for anybody really, I won't call anybody any names, right? Especially something that has such such historical aggression, right? But and especially if you're not from that culture. We know that one thing Ryan is not, he is not from the streets. He's from Victorville. This was Victorville outside of the region of Los Angeles, the area that is pretty clean. He's raised from a good home. He had good quote unquote Christian parents or call themselves that. But then when like most Christians, when when we're pressed, we abandon all our credence to Christ and God superior, and then we just become hypocrites, and then we start showing other colors, other sides to us that
Oh,
we
let me.
try to cover up by religious following, right? But we know he's not from the streets. We know he's not from places that people tend to speak like that. So the reason he's saying that is because he's never grown up in that type of environment where those type of attitudes will get you beat
Let me.
up, shot, so forth and so on.
No, I used to have a black grandpa. I got spanked because I said the N word.
Yeah.
I got spanked because I said the N word. He held me up with one hand on my wrist and spanked me. And my mom was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He said the N word. And after that day, I never said it again. So I think some people in the community, they don't care if you don't care. They don't care if you don't care if you say it. They're just gonna beat
Yeah.
you up. You're
Yeah.
just in the right area, bro. Like I grew up in Pittsburgh. That's next to Oakland, bro. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like white kids get bullied, bro, because they everyone says the N word in the Bay. Everyone says it. When I moved out there,
Mhm.
everyone was saying that shit, bro. But the
Yeah.
thing is, I came from Salinas, where no one was saying it, and I was automatically the outcast, right? So you you see the people who are saying the N word, and it's like you see them trying to fit in, and they're trying to fit in, but then once they fit in, they feel like they fit into to that to that to that fucking community. When they're in a different community, they get beat up, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just, I've seen it so many times. Don't Rick, don't say the N word when we're in the Bay, Rick.
Yeah. So here's, well, the word. You can
Yeah,
say the other word,
yeah. How
because
you say
that's
it?
what everybody says.
That's how you say it.
Yeah.
And then
So
Ryan,
let's read a couple. Let's read a
so
couple of these.
Ryan was saying it
Yeah.
like
With bad intentions, he was
horrible.
doing it with malice. We knew that he was doing
Yeah.
it in spite. Let's see what these guys are saying. Okay, well, um, Addy Medi, greetings from Florida. Well, whatever's left of it, anyway. Yeah. To all of our listeners out there from Florida, I hope we have some. I believe maybe Abner Ortega, he's probably not listening in right now, but he's either from the island of Puerto Rico or he's in Florida. But to any of the folks there riding out the hurricane that weren't able to evacuate on time, or maybe they're just well experienced individuals that have gone through these horrendous storms. We do wish you make it out alive, that you're safe with your family. It's man, have you seen the footage of these hurricanes? Somebody showed me a hurricane video, right? I think it was on Instagram or something like that. It was a fixed camera on some kind of a building, right? And it was maybe like around 4 hours long. Uh, Anyways, they fast forward the video, right? And it starts off where it's just wind. It's just like the palm trees are just waving back and forth, and all these signs are just like shaking, and the foundation where they're embedded, right? And then all of a sudden, the guy just fast forwards the video, and next thing you know, that thing is flooded with water. But there's this building, you still see it. It's maybe like a two-story house, right? It just covers about 4 feet. Next thing you know, he fast forwards it. Now it's halfway up into the this tube, so it covers up a whole story. Then he fast forwards it more. Then you don't see the roof of that two-story building, two-story house or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah. That
It
was
looks like it looks like a river. You just know it's a city because there's a couple of buildings
to
in the
fit
back.
to context, bro. That was, I know what video that is. That was Helen, Hurricane Helen.
Yeah.
Hurricane Helen happened like 2 weeks ago. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, because right now, it's the eye of the hurricane, Milton. That one's
Yeah.
hitting tonight,
Yeah.
or like right
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
the video that you're watching right now, or the video you just watched,
Yeah.
that was the one previous to that, and they're saying Milton is way fucking strong, not way stronger, but stronger. You
Yeah.
know, so
That's
that.
crazy, man.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
And so long story short, right? I watched that and I was like in awe. I was
I know,
completely in awe of how
crazy.
people actually live through that. And I have one of my coworkers. He's originally from Nicaragua, and he lived in Miami for maybe about a good 10, 15 years or something like that, maybe longer, who knows. And now he's been living over here in the West Coast. And he, first off, the one thing he always told me about Florida, especially Miami, he goes, Miami is the most beautiful city in the world. He says it's the most beautiful city. The people are beautiful. The food is delicious. There's so much culture. He says it's beautiful. And I'm like, Jimmy, like, I would just ask him, like, are you like kidding me? Because you've been to these places, they travel, right? It's like, it's the most beautiful place. And I've always been curious about going. I've never been there, right? But when I look at these storms, I'm like, I'm not that curious. But I do wish people out there in the state of Florida, the Panhandle and whatnot, that that you are safe and sound, and that you embrace your loved ones, because man, oh man, that thing seems horrible. um let's see what these guys say. Adi Medi says it's not racist if it's true. Adi, come on, calm down, boy. Adi Medi, you calm down, kiddo.
It's
Like,
crazy. I can't
he's funny
talk.
though.
I can't. It's funny because I follow like half of the there's so many black people I follow because my grandpa, or the person I would like, he passed away a couple years ago, but like my grandma's second husband was like the closest thing to my to a grandpa to me.
Yeah.
And I follow like his whole fucking family, and I can't say that shit, like
Yeah.
I don't even think about saying shit that would not resonate well with them, um
Well, they raised you right, man. They raised you right. They
yeah,
raised you to
thank you.
understand, first off, respect. That's what they did. They raised you right, right? Look, when you speak a certain way, it's either indicative of your surroundings, right?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, you grew up in in Oakland region, those kind of places. What's that place called? The one that you mentioned. What is it?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's right next door to the Bay, right? Oakland, and
Yeah.
and the streets can race you, right?
Mhm.
They actually can race you
They
if your
can.
parents aren't there, or they, even if they are there, if they just don't observe you, if they don't monitor you well, and they falter in their duties, and even when they do everything right, maybe it's just you're drifting wayward from that and their guidance. You just let the streets take you over. You will change as a result of that, and those type of words, that type of conduct will become secondhand
Yeah.
to you. But you grew up there, and I don't think I've ever heard you ever say that, and don't think I've ever heard you say anything racist against whites or blacks or browns or anything like that, Asians. So like Garimari says, actually the homie Ricky says, if you call me what do you say, a gringo, we're throwing hands. We've never spoken like that, and I know
Yeah.
you're not enough, so I say it is um it is indicative of who you are. The funny thing is, though, in the case of Ryan Garcia,
Ridiculous.
he's a faker. He's not been raised in that environment. So
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you
He just
so
wants to
when
piss
you
people off.
exactly, so when you say that, see, that's malicious intent. He
Yeah.
wants to upset people. So here's the thing: if there are repercussions, if something ever happens to him because of that, he knows well and good there are consequences for your actions, right? So I'm not saying I wish him anything bad. I'm not saying I wish Teofimo Lopez anything bad. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like that circus guy that ran into Devin Haney calls him a name or wants to start a fight, right? That Carney and that circus. But yeah, it's unfortunate. In the case of Ryan, yes, he is equally as crazy, equally as uncontrollable as Teofimo Lopez can be. And I don't believe he would take that Terence Crawford fight just because he doesn't need it. He has that wealth. He can just throw and get that attention and piss people off. Because he's pissed who? He's pissed off Caleb Plant. He started things with him. He started things with Terence Crawford. He's talked about all of these fighters, David Benavides, and it doesn't make sense, right? Why would you speak about these guys if you know you're not going to get those fights? But anyways, let's just keep going on. The homie Ricky says, "This is the context. Ryan
He's trying
uses
to
his
say some
editorial
racist
manner."
shit. He's
Yeah,
trying to say
yeah.
some racist shit. I don't think he cares about this anymore.
Adi Medi says, "True." Bob Barum says it all the time. It's just to instigate a fight. Yeah. Um, like Trump said, "Look at my nigga over there." Did he really say that, Adi? Did he really say that? I don't know if he said that, but that's hilarious. I know that he called he was talking about some Nikki something, right? Nikki whatever. He said yes. He was in the island of Puerto Rico a couple of weekends ago, and he was having some kind of a rally over there, and a couple of those Puerto Rican reggaeton artists started like kicking it with him, and he started praising them. And there was this lady named, well, lady, I guess you can call him. It's a guy that turns into a girl. Um, Her name was Nikki something, and he was like, "Oh, this beautiful, she's incredibly beautiful," and he knew nothing about her, right? So all of a sudden, Nikki something shows up. It's a tranny,
Damn.
and Trump was like, "Womp womp." It was hilarious, man. Let's see what Eddie May says. Now, if you say cracker, you done crossed the line. Institutional racism and whatnot. Yeah, that's true, Eddie. Here's the thing: cracker is equally as offensive, right?
Yep. You can be
As
racist towards white people too.
exactly, exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. We I would never call a person a cracker.
Hell no.
Why?
But if you're in the right area, it would be okay. But I'm treating it all areas equally.
Yeah,
You
I'm,
know.
I'm gonna be like, I'm not from that culture. I don't know enough of them to get along with them to talk like that. And
Yeah. So I can say it because I'm not from this area. I'm not educated. It's like that's your problem, not ours.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly, Arimedi. Yeah, don't use the word cracker. That's not cool for our white
Yeah.
brothers.
Yeah. We're trying to get some white people in here too, man. Come on.
Arimedi says, "Isn't Ryan Bodyguard a big buff nigga? No Diddy." Um, Yeah, he is actually. Ryan Garcia has a big, black, strong, like really strong, confident bodyguard kind of guy.
Oh, I was
He's
about to
actually
say, I
pretty
was like,
cool.
big black. You say big,
Oh no
black,
no no no!
strong. I was like, whoa,
Oh
what's he
man,
strong?
come on!
I'm just
That
kidding.
that sound Diddy. That sounded all kinds of Diddy, but no
Uh,
Diddy, no Diddy, no Diddy. He does have
mhm.
a big black guy for his bodyguard. So yeah,
Yeah,
he knows better, right? He wants to make sure somebody can get the job done. He found the right guy, right? So yeah, you're right.
that's
That's
probably why. That's probably
hilarious.
why people aren't coming up to him and trying to hit him up about that shit.
That yeah, exactly. Because they're like, ah, he hires one of us, right? So
Yeah,
here's that thing. That guy should probably check and be like, hey Ryan, me and you are
yeah,
boys, bro.
exactly.
Like, don't say that word, bro. Out of
Yeah,
respect for me, bro.
like
Don't
come on,
say
bro.
that. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can't be working for people that say shit like that. You know?
Yeah, you'll get your ghetto pass revoked.
Yeah,
The homie Ricky says that word isn't in the vocabulary, but blacks can have it both ways. They can have us repeat their words in music, blah blah blah, old cliche, bad trope. It's a different thing, homie Ricky. Just
yeah,
kidding, guys. Yeah, Ryan and Tilbo being reckless. What's crazy is they always around black folk and podcasters, rappers, etc. Yeah, yeah. No, I know you were joking, homie. Yeah, it's hilarious, right? These guys act like that, and they are very dismissive and offensive to the black community. But yet, these podcasters they exploit that momentum and they invite him to podcast. The best way to keep that guy from saying those things is don't invite him there. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
it's going to be at the cost of your growth of your channel, right? Because I'm sure that
yeah.
they've helped grow those channels, bring
Like
some name recognition, but still, don't do it, bro. It's like,
yeah, like for example, like that dude that invited him to when he was saying all that racist shit.
yeah,
He invited Ryan. They started. He started interviewing him, and then somehow he said Ryan said some racist shit, and he goes, "Oh, hold on," and then he said the N word again, and
yeah,
then that dude was like, "I'm gonna slap. When I see you, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you," and then the guy that said I'm gonna slap the shit out of you was the same guy that invited him you know, to for the interview. So it's like, so for retro, like looking at this retrospect, do you think that guy regretted that? I'm pretty sure he did. He goes, honestly, like I just got disrespected. Like, like he's just not. He's even saying like I should have never interviewed him. You know,
mhm,
I regret that shit. So it's
yeah,
like he's making them regret. He's making all these podcasters regret that shit because obviously it's cool for the growth, but it's like
yeah,
now the people who are looking at your podcast are looking at your stance as far as what he said, you
yeah.
know. So now that you're being put on the on the hot seat, how do you feel about that? You agreed with that? What the fuck, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and see, a lot of these podcasters are inviting Brian Garcia after he had
Yeah,
already stated those things. That's even worse. Like, I'm like, come on,
yeah,
bro, show some self-respect. Here's the thing: if somebody calls me a, I don't know, a beaner, spick, wetback, or whatever they're gonna call me, if in my place of business, right, where I invited them, they come into my home. Look, I'm not a violent individual, right? And I have a lot of tolerance. The words don't bother me that much. But if you're doing it with malice, you're not. It's not just a slip of the tongue. You're actually trying to instigate something,
yeah,
bro. I won't be held accountable for my actions, right?
yeah,
Um, I give respect, right? This is my philosophy, right? A lot of people are different. Some people say you don't give respect, you earn respect. No, in my opinion, no. That takes too much effort, right? That takes too much time. To me, it's like I'm gonna give you respect, which the way that I respect you is I approach you with the severity, the sternness required to approach an individual that you have no you know prior knowledge about who they are. You make no assumptions, right? And you just say, okay, I'm going to approach this individual with the same kind of energy I would like for them to approach me. So a lot of the time that means very amiably. If not, if I can't do it amiably or amicably, then I'll do it with at least a serious nature that I would expect they would demonstrate back to me, right? I don't. I'm not of those type of people that use that. In other words, I don't say you're gonna earn my respect, and that's when I'm gonna start treating you with respect. Nah, because it's a give or take, right? So me, it starts with you. You're in control of who you are. So the best way to approach it is I show respect first. But if some guy acts like that towards me, there's really no reason to understand that. It's gonna come off very wrong to somebody like myself because I don't have that kind of energy. And the first thing I'm gonna be is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Listen, I don't know nothing about this guy. Is he trolling me? Right? Because I'm an adult. I don't act like that. And I understand people troll, right? Maybe they're jokers. Maybe that's their personality. Again, no assumption. But if I sense that they continue saying it to instigate or provoke, or because they think that they're untouchable, they just want to be jerks about it. Okay, we're throwing hands. Something serious is gonna happen. I regret what I'm gonna do right now, but it's showtime, right? Um, these guys are inviting Ryan Garcia, a person whose mouth is so loose and quick to offend, into the podcast in order to grow their views while he perpetuates that kind of racist activity, that kind of racist demeanor, which I find reprehensible, right? So those black guys inviting Brian Garcia to their show in order for them to grow views, they're as
Well,
responsible
I
as
think they
Ryan is.
I think it's a combination of things because I heard other podcasters invite him as well, and it was to check him. It was to get him on the podcast, and maybe he puts himself out of boxing by what he says. You know, this is one thing, bro. They have, and going back to Rick's question about the Devin Haney shit, because he's talking about some random shit right now. I think he's doing it on
Yeah,
purpose, but like I think like so he only has two days, right? He's getting sued right now. He's getting sued right now, and I guess part of that lawsuit is him getting into VADA. He needs to get into VADA. I think by tonight, midnight. So he has up until
yeah.
tonight, midnight,
You heard about that?
yeah, to enroll for VADA. So right now, we're in the crossroads of finding out if this guy is gonna fight or not. Because if he doesn't enroll in VADA, he's not gonna fight Devin. He's not
Yeah,
gonna fight Devin, and we're never gonna get that answer. Devin's image not gonna go away, and Ryan's who knows? Who knows what type of opportunity he gets? But like he's gonna have the hate. What actually is gonna actually get him a big payday.
yeah.
You
But you
know,
know what, man? That's so. Look,
it's
okay.
not fair. Yeah,
This is so stupid. This is why I'm starting. Look, man. You know I'm a big Devin Haney fan. Well, I am, but he's really rubbing me wrong. I respect Mr. Bill Haney as a father. I respect how he's always been in his father's and his son's corner. He's his personal trainer. I respect that. I'm a lot like that with my son, right? But you can't have it both ways. You cannot accuse Ryan Garcia of taking all the advantages possible in order to beat you, even cheating, and then present a lawsuit because of battery and of breach of contract because you signed up to take a fight and you didn't state that you were going to fight under some kind of performance enhancement drugs, and then you say, but I'm willing to take a rematch with you if you sign in the dotted line within the next 48 hours and promise to enroll in Nevada. That's so hypocritical. If I was Ryan, I'd be like, look, bro, you can't have it both ways. You drop the lawsuit, and then maybe I'll enroll in Nevada. Because you know what? We've already proven your career is destroyed not because of me cheating and beating you and knocking you 3 or 4 times in a fight, but because you decided to take the type of actions that make it seem like you're a coward. You ended up erasing and expunging your loss from the record. You made it seem like it's not
yeah,
my check hook that knocked you down silly, but it was the pets of micrograms that I got caught off on. And now you're presenting this lawsuit where other people have been seriously hurt, even almost killed, if not killed, under pet use,
bro.
and
Yeah,
and you were a way better fighter than me, and you talked all of this, and you still want to sue me, and you still want a rematch, bro.
yeah,
Like, you're so ridiculous. You drop the suit right now. I give you 48 hours. And then maybe I'll give you a rematch so that you can beat me, redeem your loss, and make the most money you've ever made. Because no one is going to pay you big money to fight anybody. Not Matias, not Liam Paro, not Teofimo Lopez. I promise you the most money ever. You got $60 million, $40 million the first time. The second time will probably make 70, $80 million for you, like in the second rematch fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. The second one will be bigger than the first. You can actually make your loss whole. But you know what? You got 48 hours to drop that lawsuit. That's
I,
what I
I
would do.
I think that's part of the lawsuit, though, right? If he can't get into VADA right now, they're insinuating that he's in cycling out, and that's one reason why he needs months to actually. I'm not sure about months, but how many months? But he's if he's not getting to VADA, it's because he's trying to get all that shit flushed out. So I just think he's still on his bullshit. He was just drunk on that interview saying all those racist shit, all that racist shit. um so it's like I kind of think that he's uh I don't think no one knows what's going on inside their body. I think they just kind of work because it's all happening at molecular level. Like you can't really tell under the microscope. You can't. So I think Ryan is telling himself like, fuck, I haven't been like on my shit as far as what I put in my body. Like, how am I gonna be confident? And I think that's part of the lawsuit, though. If he can't gets into the VADA shit and he doesn't pass a test,
Mhm.
then it's like it's gonna make him lose that lawsuit, bro. And I think that's part of it. Maybe if he gets into VADA, they're gonna see that, hey, like we're gonna if I go through with this lawsuit, then I might just lose this lawsuit because Ryan's actually putting his evidence out. So I think it's all part of the thing. It's all part of the lawsuit for me. For him.
Maybe, but
Uh,
we'll see how it
it's
turns
not
out. I
gonna
don't know.
happen if he doesn't enter VADA tonight. The rematch will not happen. You know, and I think as far as Devin suing fucking Ryan, um, it's really weird. Like I don't know my laws, I guess, that bad. I guess we all didn't see this coming, but it's like we for Devin to do all this shit, like he must have dug in the law in the books, in the law books pretty deep. He was doing
Yeah,
his
yeah.
his research. Like I didn't know you can sue a dude after this.
Yeah, but
I
well, I'm actually surprised it hadn't taken place. To tell you the honest truth, I'm actually surprised. And here's the thing: I actually believe he has a fair chance of winning that.
Yeah,
Right?
me
I,
too.
I really do, and I think it'll be a revolutionary, game-changing thing. Right?
Yeah,
Because see, here's the thing: we have to understand, right? You're either of the mind that people do use peds in the sport, or they don't for the most part, right? But only the bad apples do, right? Now, I don't know where you stand there. I'm of the
right.
mind that you are innocent until proven guilty, right?
Oh,
In the
yeah.
case of Ryan Garcia, he's he's been proven guilty, bro. There's really there's
But
nobody that's proven to be more guilty of something than that guy, right?
but this, yeah,
Look, remember, he blamed a tainted supplement. He accused the
yeah,
company. Then he accused this guy named Scooter. Then he accused Bill Haney of sending out some guy to taint his stuff. And then he accused Vada, and then he accused the people that handle and transport the. He accused everybody. He
yeah.
dropped dimes more than a snitch. He
Yeah.
literally snitched out everybody.
But
And
that's the thing. Like he sounds so confident. I'm starting to think the intention wasn't to actually pop dirty. It was probably to like help him lose weight, and you try to make weight for a fight, and it's required for you to make that weight. You're just trying to cover your bases, but you're doing it in a way where you're gonna pop dirty for it, and uh that's just you're uneducated, unaware of what you put in your body, and you have to hold responsibility, accountability for that. And it's like, yeah, just say that. Just say that I didn't mean to do it, but this is what happened, And he's just
Look,
making too
keep it
many excuses.
simple. No, keep it simple.
Yeah,
You're
keep
either
it
gonna,
simple.
yeah, just be like, I don't know nothing about nothing.
Yeah,
I don't
just
know
say that.
nothing.
But he's complicating it and blaming everyone
That's
when he
why I
could.
see he's a liar,
Yeah, and that's
right?
why it's like if I place, like say I was at your house, you give me the remote, and I put it somewhere in between the cushions, and now you can't find it. It's like you're not gonna think that I stole it. Why would I steal that?
Yeah,
I misplaced it,
yeah.
and I genuinely don't know where it's at,
Yep,
and
yep.
and I'm sorry. Like it's kind of like that. But Ryan's like, why would you think I stole that? Why? It's like
You're like,
stop.
what? I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Where did that come from? Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, you're right. Let's read a couple of these comments because man, Addy Matty is hilarious. He says, they asked me where do people go during the hurricane. I said all over the place because they're gonna be swept because of the water. Bad Addy, man. This he's oh my God. You're terrible at it. Terrible, terrible. Yeah, Mr. Vince Vargas reminds us that they erased Ryan Garcia from that new video game Crazy, huh? Yup, absolutely. Homie Ricky and I, we had this conversation. And yes, as free speech advocates, who isn't, right? Homie Ricky called it censorship. I just called it bad for business, right? If you allow a company, and a company they're who's out for profit, their job is to make the most money, so they have to make a judgment call. They have to determine whether or not having Ryan Garcia is detrimental to sales or beneficial to sales, right? And they also have to consider secondarily, right, any kind of social consequence. Like for example, okay, let's say that when they do the logistics, the math, right? It turns out that they're saying, look, having Ryan Garcia or not having Ryan Garcia is not going to impact sales much because there's going to be half of the people that would have bought in the game that wouldn't have bought in it had Ryan Garcia is there. And there's going to be half of the people that will buy it only because Ryan Garcia is there. So then they do the math and they say, look, it almost evens out. We're going to sell about $50 million dollars worth of this game, whether you please the guys that are for free speech and racist talk versus the guys that are against that and anti-racist. It's gonna even out. So then they go, let's just keep him in there because like Mr. Vince Vargas says, he says, yeah, me too. It would have been fun to use his skills in the game. He just wants to play the character. He's not caring about whether Ryan Garcia said anything or otherwise. He just wants to play the game according to the skills or lack thereof of Ryan Garcia in the game and what that would be like playing a video game, right? There's going to be people that don't really care. They're just like, I just want to play, right? But once they make that decision to go on ahead, because there's really going to be no pros or cons for putting them in there, now they also have to consider what does it look like to as far as optics in society to have somebody that's obviously being a troll or a super racist, just a jerk, if anything, uh, and what does it say to the world saying, yes, we approve of jerks talking like this, right? And I think that's bad optics. I think it looks bad to have Ryan Garcia there. I don't think they would have made more money keeping him in there. So when they decided to keep him out, it's because they say, look, I'm all for free speech, but I'm also for consequence. And like we just talked about, if Ryan Garcia was talking like that in front of a black folk, I would have expected that black man, black women to just throw hands at the guy, right? This is undisputed. The game saying, listen, you talk like that in front of me, I would have knocked you out. So I'm knocking you out metaphorically from the game. You're not gonna be here because of it, right? They're beating up on him and his chances, and it's just bad all around, right? Here's the thing: Ryan Garcia was such an explosive, charismatic individual. A lot of people liked him. A lot of people admired him. All the young kids they looked up to the guy. He really was a role model, and he just ruined that because he wanted to be a hole to a whole bunch of people due to their skin color. Just ridiculous. But let's see what else these guys say. The homie Ricky says, plus they from LA, turf wars between Browns and Blacks, Browns versus Brown, Black versus Black. It's ugly out there in Los Angeles. Yeah, there's gang problems, but I don't even know if Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia versus all black folk has anything to do with gangs. We know that that boy is from the suburbs. Oh, here it is. Arimedi says, Nikki Jam, she is so hot. Come on now, Nikki. And he came out, right? He said it. He came out like Puerto Rico en la casa puñeta. Yeah. So Nikki Jam is that lady, or for now lady, whatever you want to call her, that Mr. Trump, the former President Trump, was talking about when he said that she's so hot. It turns out that it was a transvestite or a transsexual, whatever they are. That was hilarious. Yeah, Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez are despicable, homie Ricky. Eddie Mary says he joined Devin Haney's class action lawsuit against Diddy. Yeah, exactly. That's who we should actually sue, not Ryan. He made you all this kind of money, man. Um, Picked him up like a blow up doll. LOL. Ah, my goodness. I don't even want to know what they're talking about right there.
Yeah, they're just not talking boxing, bro.
No, it's
Uh,
fine. It's fine. They're legends for that. They're
uh,
hilarious. Mr. Vince Vargas says, "Bye for Stroud. So many weeks away. See William Smith." I think they're talking football right there.
yeah, it's all football.
Some people say you beaner. Yeah, they do. People still do say that. They say those types of terms. Um,
That doesn't offend me though, not that much.
yeah, well, it's
That's how you say
yeah.
it. You
Okay,
know?
what do y'all think? What? Addy Medi says, what do you think about Matchroom releasing Subriel Matthias for losing and Anthony Sims saying the
Wow.
same happened to him after one loss with Matchroom? Wow. Is that true?
Anthony Sims, is that a big? That's a bigger dude, huh? That's like a 170 or 168 pounder, I think. Anthony Sims.
Is it 154 or 160?
I think
I
he
haven't
was.
seen Anthony.
I think he was on the TBV podcast, bro. I think that
Yeah,
was.
I
Was
remember.
he?
I remember. I
Was that
remember
him?
Anthony Sims. Well, I remember. I don't remember watching that episode, but I remember having read probably an
Yeah,
excerpt from that episode, and he did say one thing: they released
yeah.
them. Now,
Because I listen, I don't watch. Because I'm driving, so I
yeah.
just hear names. I'm pretty sure that was him. Yeah.
So you know what? That's not actually a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
Because
No.
there's people like
Pro
let me
box.
see. Well, pro boxing they just promote anybody. Whoever wants it, they'll get it. They'll hire him for one fight, and you keep going on, right? They help
Well, in that podcast, the TBV podcast, Ness set up Anthony Sims for a Pro Box card, like live, and I was impressed. And he was
yeah. So
complaining about that. Yeah,
I remember. So Eddie Hearn and Matchroom are like that, right?
yeah,
They this is the thing with Matchroom. Matchroom, they give you a home fight. That's one thing they almost always give you, and they give you one soft touch. They give you one soft touch, usually outside of your home, right? That's your freebie fight, and then they put you in your own hometown, and if you win, and especially how you win, they'll renew your contract again. Now, most of the time when we think about a contract, we think about a 3 fight deal, right? I don't think it's being a 3 fight deal anymore. I think it's a 2 fight deal, one an easy touch, one a homecoming, right? And then they decide whether or not, based off your performance and your ticket sales, if they'll extend it. Now, most people benefit from that because if you're proving your worth, if you put on a great, exciting performance, obviously in your very first fight, which that's what the first fight is set up for, then you can fill up with sales in your hometown. If you have any followership, your base, you create a grassroots fandom. But if you don't do that, and especially if you lose in your backyard, you lost that momentum, right? And Matchroom is saying, listen, you're underperformed. We try to make it so much easy for you. We set you up for a win, and you lost. We have to cut our losses because you lost the momentum. We're not trying to necessarily just keep winners, right? Because in fact, here's the thing. I remember, I can't think of the name, but I remember there was a guy that won in his own backyard, but he just didn't excite. and Eddie Hearn cut him. And I was like, why did he cut him? He won. He's like, it wasn't impressive enough. It wasn't exciting enough. He
Yeah.
lost the momentum, and there I have to think about sales. So there's a benefit with not giving people long-term contracts where
Mhm.
you assure them millions of dollars. You got to fight for your keep. You got to earn your keep by putting on exciting fights, and I think that's the formula, right? They give you easy fights in order for you to look dominant and exciting, and then they give you an opportunity to fill up your backyard to prove your worth and earn your keep. And if you can't do that, then they can't think that they can work with you. They want to have it easier on themselves, and you can shop around. You can shop around, get yourself out there. Because the other thing about long-term contracts is that what if there's greater opportunities there, but you're just stuck in this contract with a promoter that can't really promise you that many fights? I don't know. Here's the thing, though. A lot of people say that even though Liam Paro beats Subriel Matias in his backyard, Eddie Hearn doesn't want Liam Paro to continue being a belt holder. Why? Because he's actually making a fight again in the island of Puerto Rico. Let me ask you something. Does that make sense to you, man? Liam
What?
Paro beats a Boricua in
Mhm.
Puerto Rico, and he makes him fight in Puerto Rico. Do you think the Puerto Ricans are gonna approve of that? Like, say, like, you know what? Yeah, we respect fighters. We respect fighters that beat our guys, and he's a good fighter. Yeah, we'll support him. Or would they be resentful and be like, nah, 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 pura pana, only our people, only our people.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna back up their people, bro. They prove that with fucking Edgar. But I can say so much about that. We can go down that rabbit hole, whole Puerto Rico shit, dude.
A
Yeah,
rabbit hole, huh? You call it a rabbit
it's
hole.
a huge rabbit hole, bro. Yeah,
A
yeah.
rabbit hole.
But I'm gonna
No,
just
but
say
I'm
that.
saying,
Say that, yeah.
look, okay, look. I guess what I'm saying is this: Liam Paro, when he fights in Puerto Rico, I think it's going to be in Manatee. Is is it going to sell well?
I mean, in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, he's fighting in Puerto Rico again,
Wait,
in the same
wait,
place he
who
beat Subia Matias. Liam Paro.
and who?
Um.
It has to be a Puerto Rican.
Oh, Richardson Hitchens
I mean,
for New York.
from New York, you said?
I believe he's from New York.
Okay, all right. Nah, I don't know, dude. Like,
I believe from the same place that Mike Tyson was from.
I mean, I guess, bro. Like, it's just you need a Rican to fight, right? Like
Yeah, they
who's
got
gonna?
a couple of them on the undercard.
Oh, okay, okay. So, like, this is a thing. Like, not too many fights happen in Puerto Rico, and I think it might just sell because of all the hurricanes and shit. You know, like yeah, just not a lot of things are gonna be done out there in that area because of the hurricanes. Like they're just gonna wait for hurricane season to end and rebuild. And I feel like the rebuilding efforts is gonna bring out a lot of people. And you know, if there ain't shit to do in an island like Puerto Rico, shit, why not go to a fight, Puerto Rican or non Puerto Rican? You know,
Yep.
so I'm gonna say yes, it is gonna sell. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree.
because it's
I
an
have
island.
uh yeah, so I agree. I agree. Here's the thing, right? Um the Puerto Rican people, I think they're very much very similar to, well, I hope so. I hope so. I hope they're very similar to the Mexican people, right? Where yes, they do cheer on their own, but when you got him beat, when they beat him, they give you credit. They'll support you. They just want to see a good fight. They don't care who you are. Yes, they want their guy to win, but if you beat him, you're gonna get the respect. They're even gonna follow you. They're gonna respect you. Like, I know so many people that are Mexican, Mexican American, Chicanos that love Manny Pacquiao because he beat their fighters. Right? They say, "You beat my favorite fighter. I respect you. I'm a fan of you." Right?
But dude, we're never gonna see. I'm not trying to change the subject, but we're never gonna see that many Filipinos come out ever for anybody. You know, like if not unless another athlete world class athlete fights out of the Philippines, you know. But go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just hope that that the Puerto Rico say, you know what, this guy put up a very good fight, and he came over here. He had the courage, the confidence, because that's one thing that Puerto Ricans also have. They're confident. That's why they're, very some would say, what's that word, like, uh, like not show offy, but I don't know. I don't know how you describe it,
Prima
but like,
donnas.
no, not prima donna. They're just like very confident in who they
Flamboyant.
are. Yeah, maybe flamboyant, but also very brave. Because we know that, like, that's one thing. They fight anybody, and they never back down. And
They're really
so,
opportunistic.
yeah, and maybe they see a little bit about themselves in the Amparo. They're like, look, we have to respect that. He came over here to our backyard. We were cheering against him. He beat our killer, a literal killer,
Hmm.
and he made it look easy. Yes, we like this kind of guy, because
Yeah.
if you don't, that means you cheer on losers, and you can't cheer on something greater than you, right? That's the best thing to do. In fact, it makes sense to follow somebody that's greater than somebody that's weaker than you, right? If your man is Subier Matias and you love the guy and you believe in the guy, if there's somebody that comes along that's better, you have to give the respect to your fighter by praising the guy who beat him. Otherwise, you're saying, my guy was never worth it, right? But anyways, I think it's going to be a very interesting thing. I hope my Boricua fam over there in the island of Puerto Rico, they go and watch this fight live,
Yeah.
because it's going to be a hard one. Richardson Hitchens, in my opinion, is one of the best jabs in the sport. Well, one of the most technical, well used, straight, strong jabs.
He knows
But
how to use it.
yeah, against shorter people. That's all I'm
Right.
going to say. That's all
Right.
I'm going to say. All right.
And yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
But otherwise, Liam Paro for the win, bro. Like, Liam Paro for the, like, even in the destruction, bro. This is not Lemus that he's gonna be fighting, right? He's fighting Liam Paro, the guy who just, man, I don't know what he did. He just completely outclassed Subriel Matthias, which is the only fight that I've ever called, right? Um, we have a new listener here. His name is Chico Lucio, and he says, F the Raiders and F the Dodgers. Yeah. Uh, I won't say anything about the Raiders because I have too many family members and friends, you know, and I have watched a lot of Raider games, so we're sort of that.
Well, it's
Um,
easy. It's easy. What side are you on? No, I'm just kidding.
no, no, no. Of
I know
course,
you
I'm
don't
a
watch
Niner
football.
fan. I'm a Niner
I
fan,
Oh, you
right?
are?
Well,
I
what?
didn't know that. I didn't. No, I
Well,
really didn't know that.
yeah, no. So, and there's a reason for that, right? There you go, Adimeri. It's conceded, conceded. But I say that with all due respect, because I do believe there should be reasons why Puerto Ricans should be conceded. They are a very small island that has produced a lot of great fighters, has some of the most champions per capita of all. They're not even a nation; they're an island, right?
Just
They're
the
part. Yeah,
somebody
they should be conceded.
they're almost like oppressed out there, bro. Like I'm thinking of Cuba right now.
They're
Uh,
Cuban. That's not Cuba, bro.
yeah, 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 yeah. Never mind, never mind.
No,
Cuba.
but they're neighbors. They're like a stone's throw away. I think like 10 miles
Yeah,
on a boat, right? ten
I was
miles
gonna
on a
say
boat.
some. I was gonna say some incorrect shit, like, because
We say that all
Cuba.
the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say some incorrect shit. I was gonna say that Puerto Ricans are like oppressed, but I think it's mostly Cubans,
Yeah,
and
no, it's Cubans. It's Cubans. It's
yeah,
Cubans.
yeah. So it's just I don't know what the laws. I don't know if they have access to American soil. You know,
Well, yeah, no.
is
So
it just like
the,
Cuba? Is it just like
no,
Cuba?
no, 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 no. Cuba is a enemy of ours. We have an embargo against them. We don't trade with them. We don't allow any of their goods over here. We won't import or export any goods over there.
Mm,
Um, we have them under an embargo, right? The island of Puerto Rico is what they call a commonwealth,
mm.
and really, I don't know what the commonwealth means. I think it means something to the effect that they are independent, but they accept being part of something bigger. Like, they have their own.
Oh,
rules or whatever. Yeah, but they defer to somebody like the nation of the continental US for a lot of their imports and exports and support and business, right? So
Mhm.
they really are like the 52nd state of the US, right? They
okay.
really are, right? It's
Yeah.
just that they have never actually been recognized as such. They're just what they call a commonwealth, and there's always been some separatists that never wanted to be under the domain of the US. In fact, I believe the Brown Berets from who started in New York, which is really an offshoot of the Black Panthers, which is a a rebellious, independent militia, a urban militia, that was basically a lot of bandied black folk trying to represent themselves, protect their own streets against the injustices of the police and the law enforcement. Similar, the Brown Berets, and the Brown Berets have offshoots in the Chicano cultures. Long story short, there's been separatists, but I think that separatist movement of the island of Puerto Rico has died out in the early 80s. And for the most part, they've accepted that they are part of the US, and they can come over here into the US whenever they want. They don't need to have a passport. They are part of the US. So they just take a boat, take a cruise, watch the beautiful, you know, region as they're coming over here, land in Miami, whatever, and then they just go to move on into Allentown, Pennsylvania, Lorraine, Massachusetts, all these places, Lorraine, Ohio, I mean, and those kind of places. There's a lot of communities over there, but anyways, they are part of the U.S. Um, yeah, they're cool. Yeah, Arimeri says it correctly. The word is conceited, but I say that with all due respect and appreciation for their culture. Arimeri says 5 minutes on the hurricane, 10 miles on the boat, 20 minutes on the dolphin. Exactly, Adi. It's a stone's throw away. um,
Yeah.
let's see. Look, do you know? See, Dream. I wanted to talk to you about the stuff outside of the sport, right? As you can tell, none of the stuff that we talked for an hour and a half is relevant. None of it. Because again, we're talking about make believe fights. We're talking about Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia
Well,
cutting out a two-time division undisputed champion, two weight divisions higher than him, right? Now, why are
honestly,
we,
oh, go ahead,
huh?
go ahead. My bad.
No, go
Sorry.
for it. No, because I was going to transition to the next thing, but I want to see
Oh
what you were
yeah,
going to say.
I was just gonna like add something. I initially thought you were going live
Yeah.
because of that Ryan shit. Because how midnight is literally the fucking or literally the deadline, like tonight. Or I think like because it's 3 hours, so like in 40 minutes, you know. So because it's East Coast time, so it's like crazy. I thought you were going live for that, but it's like, well, we're gonna find out a lot more when we wake up tomorrow morning, you know.
Yeah. No, the
But go
reason
ahead.
why I wanted to have this show, right? It's not really to report on the going ons because there's so much that will take place over the weekend, right? We have Naoya Inouye's younger brother, a guy who fights very much like him but just lacks the power. He's gonna be fighting Eddie Reynoso's uh fighter. And Canelo's gonna supposedly be in Japan along with Eddie to support their fighter to see if they'll beat Naoya. And of course, you know that there's this rumor that Turkey Al-Sheikh wants to have a big old event where Naoya Inoue and Canelo fight on the same card. Right, this is huge news, and maybe this is where they click up and talk about it. They're gonna obviously get a couple of photo shoots and whatnot, get that type of conversation going. But there's obviously gonna be this incredible undisputed fight between a couple of expats of Soviet origin. We have Artur Beterbiev, undefeated three-belt holder, 100% knockout ratio versus Dmitry Bivol, a
Yep.
guy who has very smooth, fluid movement. He's beaten the Shuin Hall of Famer and Canelo. He's beaten this big old overweight Mexican and Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, and he carries on his own belt undefeated. We have so many fights to look up to, and you're like forward to, and you're like, okay, why don't we just talk about that? Well, I wanted to present the type of news that has something to do with boxing, but only secondarily. Why? Because these things matter. For example, we just talked a little bit about a social consequence of the type of racist rhetoric that Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia and the impact that it has on society. You know, we just talked about how some people disagree about how the game Undisputed took out Ryan Garcia because they like to just fight him and they don't care about, you know, the shenanigans outside of the sport. And then there's also obviously other people that only care about that, right? The fact that it is news that these two smaller guys are asking to fight a Terrence Crawford fight, even though everybody reports it, even though it seems very unlikely. But here's a couple of other things that have happened in the past week or two that also merit their attention. One, we know the famous episode where there's this carny in a circus, some kind of a county fair, who gets punched by Devin Haney. He takes that punch, and everybody makes Devin Haney the clown again. Why? Because he ended up punching a guy who's obviously short and overweight. He couldn't even face the guy. And the guy who should have dirty rights to sue Devin Haney, he's not presenting any kind of lawsuit, right? Devin Haney becomes the laughing stock. Now, recall, if you don't know, apparently the reason why it is assumed Devin Haney punched that guy is because the guy said 31 and 1, 31 and 1, 31 and 1. He kept screaming 31 and 1, saying that apparently, even though Devin Haney got his record cleared of that loss, we know the fact he got himself mollywopped at the hands of an untested, unproven, unskilled fighter in Ryan Garcia. Now, we have to ask the question, why did that guy feel that he had the right to talk to some stranger like that? Why did he feel that he can just ridicule Devin Haney in front of his homeboys and think it was okay to do that, and that Ryan Garcia that Devin Haney wouldn't throw hands, right? These things don't have anything to do with the sport per se, but they have to.
Are you talking about the fair?
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is these things obviously have nothing to do with the sport, but they have to do with the respect that I'm trying to get at, right? Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez should respect Terrence Crawford, and they should not belittle him just because he's of a different skin color. This carney at the county fair should not have thought that he could disrespect Devin Haney just because Devin Haney is a public persona, and he should not have thought that it would be okay to just ridicule that guy, taunt him, and that Devin Haney wouldn't throw hands, right? Now, here's another one. A week or so ago, there was one of the best fights of the year. Michaela Mayer fought Sandy Ryan for I think it was a welterweight title, right? And if you don't know what happened before the fight, the day of the fight, but earlier on, Miss Sandy Ryan from the UK, she walked outside. There was over hotel. There was a car waiting with a couple of individuals. The bum rushed her. Some guy threw paint at her, like a bucket of paint. He splashed her all over, right? And right before that, somebody was spreading all of these flyers with Sandy Ryan's image there, talking so much smack about her. Like they were besmirching her reputation. They were presenting her as a foreigner, as you know, as this person that people should cheer against. And then somebody actually took an aggressive action against her. They they ran at her and they threw a gallon of house paint at her a few hours right before she fought. Now, obviously, you're in a foreign land. You're in enemy territory. You know, you're the champion, in fact. And then you're feeling comfortable. You know, you already have the anxiety of knowing that, you know, you have to show up and shine in a couple of hours, but you're still feeling comfortable and confident because you've put in the work. All of a sudden, you go outside and there's people passing flyers, talking bad about you, even though they don't know you, and then somebody takes an aggressive action towards you, that it could have easily been just somebody walking up to her and stabbing her, somebody walking over there and just shooting her. This show, if anything, Dream, is about the type of respect that we should show ourselves and any stranger. These fighters, yes, we do expect them to put themselves in the line, harm themselves beyond recognition, nearly kill themselves for our entertainment, and we still want to be able to ridicule them, troll them, do all kinds of stuff, right? In the background. I'm saying let's approach these guys and these ladies with the respect that you would to any stranger, right? If you want respect to be granted to you, you should respect those individuals. No boxing fan should take it so serious that they take other people's fights that personal. If I'm a big fan of Ryan Garcia and I don't like Devin Haney, I should not feel comfortable enough to walk up to Devin Haney and start taunting him and calling him names and throwing pain or nothing like that. Do we draw the line between entertainment and the entertainers and their responsibility towards us and the personal? It's really the matter I'm trying to get at. What makes us as members of this society think that we could talk down to strangers like that? I don't get it. I don't get it, Dream. I really don't get it. Right? It's society, man. This society
Yeah,
is
yeah, I know.
horrible.
Yeah, it's like sometimes I can't believe how I don't know, like they're not doing anything about it, as far as like Ryan's actions and shit. Like they did suspend him, the WBC. So like like when he was saying all that racist shit, like that they actually did come in and like suspend him and shit. So I don't know. They're doing what they can, just because these guys are their own entities, they're their own businesses. They're only hurting themselves, like they're their own. I heard it this morning. They're their own 1099s, so it's like they're not these promoters aren't being affected, so they can't really do anything about what he's saying to an extent. It's just yeah. I wonder how the cells are gonna do. Like the next time he fights, because if he don't fight Devin, then it doesn't really matter who he fights next. He just got to test clean, So yeah, I think maybe like maybe they do boost their cells and shit, but it's just man, like there's so much like they need to fight each other again. Ryan and Devin. Um, that's the only way that it's gonna shut everyone up because whenever you bring up Ryan and Devin situation, it's just like, man, you go in that rabbit hole. Just he he didn't mean the cheat, and the other one's like, well, let's see if he can test clean. Like it wouldn't have happened if he was dirty. If he wasn't dirty, like. But I don't know. It's just like you never know. You know, what would have happened if Ryan was clean. But it did bring up more attention. You got dudes you got baseball players and pretty much guys that didn't that got caught with on steroids like on in other sports talking about this shit. You got Barry Bonds talking about this shit. You got fucking Michael Phelps talking about this. So it's kind of like brought a lot of attention, and yeah, dude, I believe all that shit should be okay, to an extent. It's just for boxing, bro. It just makes a huge difference in your performance, and it's just. I'm only saying that because I've been on it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
but I honestly, the only sport I feel like they should allow it is baseball. I think baseball is the most non-contact you can get. It's just you're not touching no one. I mean, unless you collide with the dude on base or something, but really feel that's like one of the sports that you should be able to do it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know. Boxing is just it just makes a huge difference, bro. You're
Yeah,
both
no, it huge difference. I mean,
you're
in
both weighing
everything.
in. Yeah, you're both weighing in, dude. Like Like, man, like I've taken B12 vitamins. You know, I know how that shit feels. Like if you ever go to the hospital and get
Mhm.
IVs, dude, it's the best thing in the world, bro. Like I've had it when I had the shingles a couple like
Mhm.
10 years ago. And I remember,
Really?
yeah,
You
I had
got IV lines because of the shingles?
yeah, yeah. But
What?
yeah, because it was over my eye and shit. But yeah, dude, I had IVs, and it was so fire, bro. Like honestly, I felt like alive. You know, I was like, it's good, bro. Like honestly, like I see why. You know, you know, it's like not, it's prohibited and shit. But I also heard that having IVs isn't prohibited, but for the most part, I feel like having any type of like IV is like cheating and shit because you're hydrating at a faster rate. It's hitting your bloodstream faster,
Yep.
so it's just different than you drinking water. That
Yeah,
shit.
you're giving yourself the recuperative effects much quicker, really
Yeah,
hydrating well.
it's science. It's
Yeah,
science.
without
You're
any
gonna.
type of filtration. It's just really,
There's no
yeah,
way. There's no way you can drink something and hydrate that as fast as you having that shit directed to your bloodline.
yeah. And there's no better way than to lose weight than to take some kind of, some type of stimulant that'll make you lose weight,
Yeah.
and calories. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What the other guy
Like
is
imagine,
struggling.
dude, because if because I've done double days, you know, like when I actually didn't have any responsibilities, you know, when I was going to the gym, the boxing gym a lot, like I would have these double days, and I remember going the second time that day and just feeling like fucking sore as fuck, man. You're just pushing it, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you just focus on movement. But in reality, if I were to take IVs during the day and go and and hit the gym, I'd be like
yeah.
brand new again. I'd
Yep,
be
yep,
brand new
yep.
again, and I would be able to hit that second workout. And that's what just I'm talking about IVs. So I'm pretty sure other performance enhancing shit is like gonna help me, go through my day. Like that's only what older people look into, because they need more energy, they need more like sometimes like older people dudes like gotta take like the not a hormone pill, but with like not steroids, but like yeah, more like what is it called, your steroid account, not your steroid account,
I don't
your
know.
no,
I
it's
don't know. I've never done drugs, bro.
no, what's the opposite of hormones? What's the opposite of hormones? You know how girls,
Testosterone,
yeah, testosterone levels.
estrogen.
Your
Okay.
testosterone levels. You know how like
Yeah.
dudes try to boost their testosterone levels.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you take those little pills, but older dudes, older than you, like so
I
yeah,
think testosterone is for people. Well, I really don't know, but I think they're for people that, yeah, like
it
you're
helps,
they're
bro.
losing their ability to produce muscle mass and
Yeah.
maybe their
Body might
male
said Viagra.
fortitude. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think
But
that
it's the
that
opposite.
is an
It's the
effect.
opposite. It's the opposite of Viagra pretty much. But
Oh,
uh
that did not know that. I
yeah.
don't know nothing about it, man. I'm still only 45, and I don't think I have to worry about that.
Well, think
Um,
about it. You take Viagra, you're gonna get all
Bro,
what?
if
And
somebody like me took Viagra, because I'm still very energetic, and let's
you'd
just
have
say,
another kid.
I would no, I would probably walk around with a boner all day, bro, because there's no issues over here. I'm too young for that, right? But I do
Not the
know that.
opposite of that though, but testosterone just gives you more boost. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay. Yeah.
Just yeah.
Hey, Dream, did you know that I have 666 subscribers? You devil, you. It's what Addy Medi reminds us of. Actually, yeah, I was aware, Addy. I was aware. I woke up, because I haven't been able to produce any shorts. I've had to work with my youngest son to figure out how to help him out in his math. He was going through some humps. Um, I've been helping him with his flag football practice. I've been, going to train with him personally because they could only train 3 or 4 times a week, so we have to do the extra outside of our own time. So I've been, keeping myself busy. And there were a couple of very good fights that we should have talked about, like the Nick Ball versus Ronnie Rios fight, which was a hellacious, very good fight.
Well, we didn't finish talk. We didn't finish the Bivol better be.
Yeah, no, we didn't. We didn't. We haven't even got there. I think I want to do that tomorrow. If not tomorrow, maybe on Friday, right? Because there's so much to talk about when it comes to that fight. That show actually probably merits a good hour or two just to get there. Somebody like Homie Ricky says, "Dude, I just did that in 20 minutes." I did that in 20 minutes in the live yesterday. But to tell you the truth, Homie Ricky, there's so much so many layers to that fight, so many intangibles that we have to consider. And maybe you hash them all out in 20 minutes, but I don't mind, pulling somebody's ear for 2 hours. But yeah, I have 666 subscribers. I just wanted to look and to determine how many of my subs had gone down because of the lack of inactivity. And lo and behold, it's almost the opposite. It's almost like people want to shut me up because the less that I do content, the more people subscribe. So I don't know how that works, but I guess maybe it's like a type of subscription count increase because they want to keep me shut up. Censorship, god darn it. But yeah, it's working out. I do have 666 subscribers, and Arimedi ever the angel, ever the angel. He says that he'll do me a favor. He doesn't want me to stay at that diabolical number, so he's gonna unsubscribe in the meantime.
Yeah.
Man, this guy's hilarious.
Mm.
The homie Ricky says, remember how he started the show about how rebellious he was and how he wanted to do this and that, but he's a role model. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with changing, homie Ricky. It's called flip flopping. People do it all the time. Dude is showing his true colors, he says. Exposed. 31 and repeats 3 times. We take that first number 3 and add them up. He is saying 666. Drew is shaking. Pinche diabólico is what Arimedi says. Man, I don't know how Arimedi does it, but he speaks like so many languages. He's been in Vegas. He's been in Portugal. He's been in Florida. He's coming out from there. I'm in Florida. None of that San Ho. Shh. And I guess he says that you sound like one of his homies by the name of Misery that lives in Salinas. Shit is crazy. You know, Warp takes Viagra. Nah, I really don't. I'm only 45, man. Come on. I have a beautiful wife. I still, you can still see six packs in me. I still go mountain biking. I go to, sun. I feel comfortable walking in the speedo in my body. No, man, I don't need any of those stimulus, man. Trust me. The Eddie Medi says, the homie Ricky says, Eddie Medi is a representative of the New World Order, multilingual, educated, and well traveled. Oh, the New World Order. Dream, can I pull your ear on a couple of things related to the New World Order? I want to talk about something else besides boxing. Look, are you heavily involved in boxing? I mean, in politics. Like, do you pursue politics and stuff like that? Do you keep up with current affairs and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was. I wanted to be the mayor of Salinas. No, I'm just kidding. No, I didn't. Never in my life.
Okay, okay. Well, I used to. Again, going back to that punk rock ethic. I educated myself on politics only to criticize those that were in power, right? Um, I was very anti-religious, anti-governmental, more libertarian, or maybe even say anarchist as a form of expression towards the way that society relies on the rule of others to keep people subjugated and under control. But again, with age, you come to realize there is trade-offs with being an individual, a member of a society that abides by the law and so forth and so on. Long story short, I would follow politics and current affairs when I was younger, but I haven't for like 10 or so years, right? Now, I remember when I was younger, the Republican faction of politics in the US were very hawkish, very pro-war, right? And then we had the Democrats, which were more anti-war, peacenik types, right? Maybe not the politicians, because all of the politicians they've always been pro business, and we know that war is very it promotes business. It produces, and there's that's the trade-off about war. We go and kill people, but a lot of jobs in manufacturing and weaponry and technology and so forth come as a result of that, right? um but I remember the Democrats, as long as their talking points, they would always try to cater to the population, the half of the population that's more about peace and liberty and leaving people alone and so forth and so on. And the Republicans were more, let's go to war, let's defend our borders. These guys are our enemies. And here's the thing, now it's the opposite. The people that follow former President Trump, they're proud of the fact that under his his presidency, there weren't no new wars started. Right now, they're the hippie types, and now we see the Democrats starting wars and sending money to Ukraine and Israel, and now trying to give money to what's that part, Syria or Lebanon or whatever. I don't know what part of the world. They just gave hundreds of millions of dollars to the people that are fighting Israel, even though they just gave hundreds of millions of dollars to Israel to attack the same country. So again, they're playing both sides. And these are the Democrats in power promoting wars, antagonizing Russia, and so forth. Now, we have the Democrats being pro war, the Republicans being anti war, right? We have, this is the funniest one, man. Check this out. There's the people that believe all of these natural catastrophes, hurricanes and whatnot, are a conspiracy from the government to eliminate people from certain parts of the state, of our nation, North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, to have them relocate. That's why they continue to attack him with these, I guess, reproduced, manufactured, natural weather things through this technology called HARP, right? Those are the Republicans because the Democrats are in power, but yet the Democrats are the ones that say all of this happens because of natural climate change caused by the influence of man. So the Democrats, you're probably like, what are you getting at? The Democrats say that humans are responsible for the incredible drastic climate and weather changes because of the overpopulation and the industrialization that's taken place for about 150 years. All the pollution of the rivers, of the water, the smokestacks, everything going up in the air, right? For hundreds of years in mass production and in the capitalist society, that is the one thing that has influenced the weather patterns more than anything else, right? And the Republicans say, no, that's crap. That's just anti-production. You guys just want us to no longer drive gas-powered vehicles. You guys want us to, give up our rights to our American right to cars. I'm absolutely for that. I'm like, no way. I'm not giving up my 1967 Buick Wildcat, right? Just because you think that, there's going to be an earthquake in California or a hurricane in Florida. No. One guy says it's HARP. The other guy says it's because of man-made weather influence. But you know what the funny thing is, Dream, in all of this, as all these people argue about it and they say, oh, I got proof. And the other guys say, I got proof. And when you listen to both of them, they all seem to have good logical explanations. The one thing that everybody seems to forget is this. The sun is more powerful than anything the man can do on earth. The sun is more powerful than any technology that a man can create to influence the weather, right? The sun could destroy the earth through solar gamma ray bombardment, through the influence of the seas, through the magnetic pole, X flares, everything. It could have so much influence, but everybody says, oh man, it's been driving cars and producing televisions for too long and we're paying the consequence. And other people say, no, that's not true. All those hundreds of years of mass production and smokestacks aren't as powerful as a small little thing that sends ice particles in the sky called HARP. Really? Bro, you're going to tell me that people blowing smoke for hundreds of years and regulated and checked in China and the US and India, that has no bearing and no influence in weather patterns, but yet a little box that just incredibly vibrates the sky, and then all of a sudden we have hurricanes. You really think one little contraption could do that? But yet hundreds of years of mass production and of pollution has no influence. You guys are ridiculous. Both of you guys are speaking the same thing, just pointing fingers at each other just to justify your political inclinations. At the end of the day, it boils down to this: the powers that be, the rich, politicians, all of those guys, they're in the same team. They're playing for the Raiders, and you're playing for the Chiefs, and you guys think you guys are in the right, but you guys are punting. The sun probably has more influence than a little machine called HARP, and more influence than all of the hundreds of years of the smoke that you've been blasting in the air. It's ridiculous. And I just find it hilarious that people are fighting over the same thing just by different names. This is the reason why I stay away from politics, man. I stay away because I'm like, man, boxing already provides so much BS. I don't need more of that in my life, you know?
Yeah, man. Honestly, it's just dumb, man. Like honestly, I just feel like it matters, but then it doesn't. You know, I think um the more out of the way, not unless you like, are, I don't know, like an attorney or something. I don't know. Like not unless if it directly affects you, and sometimes it does. I realize it does affect
Go get me help.
businesses and how they run it, because of all these laws being passed. So uh yeah, it just some people put themselves in positions to have to care about this shit, So for me personally, it's not gonna affect anything. You know why? Because what I do is very important. I feel like, you know, it's gonna be here forever type of thing.
Hmm.
So I'm not worried, it's just yeah, I'm not worried, man.
Yeah, yeah. It is
I'm not
crazy
even
though.
voting.
You ain't voting?
Mm.
Well, there's people that would say voting has no, really doesn't matter anymore because they're presenting to us the people that they want us to vote in the first place, and they all work for them. That I really do believe that. I really do believe that. Um, but if you don't vote, you can't really complain about it later on, right? You just have to, go with the flow and you know, uh, just
Yeah,
roll
I
with the
think
punches.
that at last presidential campaign when I think Joe Biden won, I voted. And that was the first time that I voted, and
Mhm.
I just feel like I got played. No, I'm
You
just
got
kidding.
betrayed. You
Nah,
felt betrayed
nah,
of
nah,
your
not like
first
that.
one, man.
Not like
No, no,
that.
no,
It's
no,
just
no. I mean, that's. I think a lot of people feel like that.
yeah. Yeah. I just feel like God, man. I feel like I didn't vote for the right guy. I don't know, but that's why I don't feel right voting for something that is like, everyone is voting for Trump, but it's just like I don't want to be the reason why shit fucks up because when Trump becomes president, because dude, he fucked shit up, bro. He fucked shit up, and I was like, damn, this is crazy, man. I don't want you to be president again, type of thing, because you fuck shit up, and
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I don't want to vote for uh, Harris either because I'm like, bro, like, there's been no accountability, right? I mean, the reason why I'm resentful of the Democrats right now is because, for better or for worse, the DNC presented to us Joe Biden as the candidate for presidency against Donald J. Trump, right? And they kept telling the news and telling us in our face that this guy was conscientious, that this guy was sharp and brilliant, that there was nothing going on when he was having these gaffes, slips of the tongue, tripping on the floor, walking away, to chase after ice cream trucks, that none of that was really going on. They kept telling us that he was sane in the head and healthy. It turns out that he wasn't. But yet, all of these people, they were being lied to, and these people still voted for him against their better knowledge, against everything that they watched. They voted, and here's the worst thing about it: Joe Biden won the DNC representative so that he could represent the Democrats for presidency. All of a sudden, they decide that he is no longer going to represent the Democratic Party, and he's going to be kicked out. And without even anybody voting for Kamala, they made her the candidate. The right thing would have been to start running again, run it back, give an opportunity for the Democratic people to vote for whoever they wanted to represent the Democrats, and they just said, "Nope, we're going to put in Kamala, and you're going to vote for her." Or otherwise, I think they robbed the opportunity of the people that are of Democratic inclination to vote for who they wanted to represent their side against Donald J. Trump, and I really can't justify giving so many billions of dollars to foreign countries to kill themselves when we are allowing people to die in our own backyard because of flooding, inundations, and FEMA running out of aid help. It's embarrassing. I can't vote and in good faith for any Kamala Harris, and I understand what you're saying about Trump, but it's always been the lesser of two evils, man. You're always gonna vote for who is less evil than the other, not who's better than the other. It's never been that. It's the lesser of evils because they won't ever do anything good for us. But anyways, Dream, we're obviously, we're not political. We never really talk about that. Um, do you want to do this again? Do you want to talk about Beterbiev B-Ball on Friday? Because I think
Yeah.
I don't even know where you stand on that fight.
Oh, okay. Nah, it's Bivol, bro. I think Bivol's gonna get them all 12 rounds and what go the distance. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bivol gets like a flash knockdown. Like not on Betterby, but I'm saying if Betterby gets the flash knockdown. You
Oh
know,
no, I don't think no. I
yeah,
don't see that. I don't see
I
that.
can see him getting knocked down, and
I can
then
see Better Beef getting dropped.
I can see them both getting dropped, and then I can see Bivol just outworking him all 12 rounds because I feel like he can keep that same energy pretty much like how how he had Canelo up against the ropes. Like I feel like he's capable of managing his energy to do that all 12 rounds. You know,
Eddie Medi says B-Ball versus ex-wife, B-Ball by stoppage. You know what? Have you seen what's her name? I can't remember what her name is. Ekaterina B-Ball. She's a looker. Like
huh?
she's a looker, bro. She's
A
yeah.
looker.
Yeah, that means she's good looking.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah,
she's
that's good. Yeah,
yeah,
that's good.
yeah, she's I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's good. There's somebody that should come up on that, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that'd be crazy if Baturbia makes a move at that, or he could get under the skin of that guy just by just like sending her a text. Thank you. Well, I'm available on Friday. Do you want to go out after the fight to blah blah
Mhm.
blah to TGI Fridays? And then people would just be like, ah, that'd be
That's
hella
the
funny.
marquee. Nah, just kidding. Yeah.
Mr. Vince Vargas says, hope they move all those classic cars out of the Hurricanes path. Yeah, that's crazy. That's actually true, Mr. Vargas. Florida has a lot of classic cars, and they actually have them. There's two markets over there. Dream. I don't know if you. Yeah. I'm sure that you're not into old cars, but anyways, there's two markets, right? There's the markets that they know they have very good cars, but over there in Florida, the wages are low and people work very hard for their money. They're not going to spend it on old, you know, Buick Riveras or otherwise because they just don't have that kind of car culture, right? Uh, that muscle car energy. They don't really have it as deep as, let's say, Washington State or Oregon or the Illinois, California, all those places, right? Texas, they don't have it as deep as that, but they do have a lot of cars over there, and there's very rich people over there. So you have vehicles that are in pristine condition that they're very expensive, or you have vehicles that are very good condition, or maybe little fixer uppers that are very, very cheap. And I've actually thought about buying some cars over there because I could probably get myself three vehicles for the price of one over here in California prices, but the shipment cost, right? The shipment cost.
Mm,
I'd rather drive a car from Florida over here than to have it shipped because it's in the tens of thousands of dollars.
damn.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's this guy that was selling this very rare Honda car, like a two-door Japanese model. I can't remember what it was. The guy was selling it here in Salinas for $2,500, and it's a vehicle that had the steering wheel on the right side, right? So my nephew was like, Unc, I want to buy this car. I want to buy this car. I was like, what kind of car is that? It has some crazy old name, but it was a Honda. He's like, it's a rare, blah, 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 blah. And the guy apparently paid back then, like 10 years ago, $20,000 to bring it from Japan over here. And he was selling it for 2,500 because he couldn't find a small little part. And I'm like, what? Like, you can't find a small little part? Like, so you're gonna like sell it for 2,500 bucks. Yeah, that thing was only there for like a week, and then boom, somebody saw that it was a unique car, that you were driving on the wrong side of the steering wheel on the right side. Imagine driving around in a car like that, man. That'd be so cool. But yeah, I
Yeah.
hope that they savage these vehicles, Mr. Vargas, because man, what a tragedy. And not only that, the houses too. I mean, cars are something, houses are another. The life, the cattle. Imagine the cattle, all of those animals gonna die. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's crazy.
Anyways,
Yeah.
let's run it again on Friday. Let's prepare for that big event that will take place on Saturday. We'll talk about it over there. I'm glad that Mr. Vince Vargas came by over here. I did not know that you were into NASCAR. I think you had a NASCAR as one of your icon images right there, Mr. Vargas. My driver was Brad Keselowski. He used to drive around, and maybe he's still driving. I'm not too sure, but
Yep.
he would drive. He's still out there,
Nah. Nah. I don't
Brad
know.
Keselowski.
I don't watch NASCAR. I'm more into F1.
Oh, okay, he used to drive the Miller Lite car, the white Miller Lite car, I believe. He had it for a longest time, and then I remembered that I lost programming and television. I couldn't even get local channels, so I couldn't keep up with NASCAR. But man, NASCAR is so great on a Sunday morning, Saturday afternoon. If you're watching the trucks, it's incredible. But I saw that. I'm not too sure who your driver is, but man, I saw that car right there, and I was like, yeah, I remember NASCAR. Good times. Hattie Medi says, damn, Vince, that's so insensitive. You're more worried about the classic cars in the liquor stores that are going to be washed away. Yeah, it's so insensitive, Vince. What's wrong with you, man? These the liquor stores, just think about the liquor stores. Um, you know what? Hattie Medi made my day, man. He unsubscribed so I wouldn't be a demonic individual having 666 subs. Actually, Eddie, I'll be honest with you. I woke up, I wanted to see how many subs I had lost. I noticed that instead they had gone up, and I screenshotted it when I saw that it was 666, not because I'm a devil worshiper, but because I thought it was funny. I'm actually going to post it in my community because I want people to start subbing more so that we can get a little more active and maybe get a little more engagement. But in the meantime, I'll never complain of having Vince and Adi, and maybe when we can get back on track a little more, the Mexican G, and El Pachuco listening over here. But yeah, guys, I love you guys. We do it for you. I love this kind of talk. Dream, I appreciate you always. Thank you for coming by. Let's do it again on Friday. We'll set up something nice and good. I'll probably even pay for the StreamYard subscription so that I don't have to just have our stupid images right there. Maybe I can show some nice, beautiful ladies in the background.
Hmm.
But but yeah, small price to pay to make something presentable on the screen. Dream, it's been a pleasure
Yep.
for the homie Ricky. Dream 123 warp speed. To everybody out there, I bid you adieu. Be well of health, sane of mind, and rock on.
Rock on. What you say? All right, man. Peace.
Peace.